Hi guys, my name's Taylor and I'm going to be taking you through the step 2 of our getting started training. So guys, we've got a really simple 3-step training process. It's as easy as doing these 3 steps. So congratulations on already completing your step 1 first 48-hour task. So really the next thing for you to do is to get going with planning your launch. So launches are an absolutely fantastic way to kickstart your business. So before we do anything, and if you haven't done this already, I would recommend pausing this video and going and printing off the checklist just to the side of here, because it's really important that you tick off every single thing on this checklist. Everything has been added for a purpose, and it's really important if you want to succeed that you do everything that we highly recommend that you do. We've also included a fantastic launch video for you to watch where you can learn from some of the top leaders in the business on how they launch their business so that you can duplicate that and do that yourself as well, which will really increase your chances of success. So don't get stressed out, guys. We've got a really simple system for you to follow. It doesn't matter if you only have a couple people show up or you're planning on doing a big launch. It's all quality. So some of the best launches in the business have come from only having a couple people there. A bit more intimate. People can ask more questions. So don't stress if you don't know 100,000 people to invite. That's totally fine. So just follow our systems and you will do exceptional. So there's a couple different ways to launch your business. You can either do an in-home launch or an online launch. And, I know a lot of people have even done an in-home one and then followed that up with an online one as well. So, totally up to you on whichever one you would like to do. But we highly recommend that you're doing an in-home launch that you run by yourself. And the reason that we recommend this is because it's highly duplicatable. And when people are being presented the opportunity, they're asking themselves 3 questions. Can I do this? Can you help me? And is it simple? So if you've got a really simple in-home thing that you're doing yourself where you're just sharing your story and then a couple things that you like about the company, and if you like, you can play one of the fantastic little videos that we've got to help explain things for you, that's totally fine. But if you're doing something nice, simple, in-home that people know that they can do themselves, that's when you'll have your best chance of success, because this business is all about duplication. If you confuse people, they're less likely to do it. So something nice, simple and easy, and you can't get it wrong because your story is your own experience, where you've come from, why you've chosen Jeunesse, and you've already done this in your step 1 training. So that's fantastic as well. Your next option, if you've got an upline support in your area, you can get in touch with them and find out a day that suits them where they can, come over and help you run your launch. And then your third option, which if you live, out in the country or you live overseas, is to do an online launch where you get your upline to come online and help share the Jeunesse story on your behalf. So, guys, as I mentioned, would have gone over this in your first 48 hours is your story. So your story really is your weapon in building this business, because facts tell, but stories sell. And people will join this business because of your story and where you see yourself going with this company. So people really do join people. So this is absolutely vital that you make sure you've got your story down pat. So make sure that you write it out and you've been practicing it. The next thing that we really highly recommend, guys, is just be yourself. You don't need to make up something and sound really intelligent or really smart. Just be genuine and just be you, because, people will join you because of where you see yourself going and all of that kind of stuff. So if you're just being you, people will see that you're being genuine, you're not being fake, you're not putting things on, and that will give them confidence as well that if they join this business, all they have to do is be themselves as well. So it's really important to learn the basics of inviting, and all you're asking for, guys, is for people's support. And we've included, some great little scripts that you can use as well. But you're really just asking people for bums on seats, for their support. You're not asking them to come and buy any products at all, because all you have to do in this business to build a great business is get good at inviting. So you just invite people along, and then you let the tools do the talking on your behalf. So in this case, you'll invite people over. You don't need to get stuck talking about it on the phone with them, because that's exactly what they're going to hear when they come to your launch. So just invite them over and explain to them that they will find out all the details when they come to your launch. And it's really important that you really grasp how to transfer your excitement, because, only very, very little of what you say is actually in the words that you say it. People are going to notice if you're, fumbling and you don't sound like you've convicted and that you honestly believe that you found a fantastic opportunity. People will sense that. They'll sense that you're hesitant, and they'll sense that you're not confident with what you're doing, and that will make them question whether they should be confident in joining you. So it's really important that you have that verbal commitment. If you can get in front of people when you're inviting them, that's great, because your body language says a lot about what you're saying as well. But, people can really sense your energy, your excitement, when you're actually speaking to them. So it's important that you also, speak, not just type over text or over a Facebook message. So, think of the top 20 people that you would love to have at your launch. So you can also, think of your easiest people, so your friends, your family, people that are going to support you. And invite them along to your launch, because it's fantastic to even say to people, look, guys, I've just joined this new and exciting business. It may or may not be for you, but, I really value you as a friend and as a contact, and I would love for you to hear about this opportunity before I go and tell lots of other people as well. So really show them a bit of urgency, a bit of excitement, and make them feel good as well that you've contacted them before you've gone elsewhere as well. It's really, really important that you, get a verbal commitment from people, but also that after you've got that commitment, you are following up and you're reminding them about that launch, because whilst it may be the most important thing to you at that time, it might be number one on your to-do list. Other people, it's not their main priority right now. They have other things going on. They haven't committed to this opportunity like you have. So it's important to remind them that the launch is coming up. And then have a practice, guys. But really, really remember, as we mentioned in step 1, to keep it simple, because, it's really important that, you just come across natural. If you're rattling off all these different ingredients of everything, people are going to be thinking, this is way too complicated and confusing for me to learn this information. I don't have time to do that. Maybe it's not for me. So if you're just being very, very simple, you're sharing 2 things about the company that you like, a few things about the products, a few things about the industry, and sharing your story, that is what is important. Just keeping it really simple so that other people know that they can do it themselves as well. So get organised, guys. We've got sheets as well for you to print off with sign-up sheets, some information sheets and all of that kind of stuff that's over on the side. And make sure you go through your checklist, that you've got everything printed off, that you're all organised. And even whether you're practicing just in front of the mirror on your own, or, you practice in front of your kids or your mum, your dad, whatever it is, have a bit of a practice run through it and just make sure you're confident with what you're doing. So don't worry, guys. As we mentioned, things come up. Not everyone who commits will show up, but that's perfectly fine. Some of the best home launches that have happened in this business are from people that have had only 1 or 2 people turn up. You're actually able to have more of a personal chat with them. It can be more intimate. If they've got questions, they can ask you them without worrying about what other people will think. So if you've only got a few people show up, that is perfectly fine, because that's also really duplicatable. They'll be sitting in that room going, awesome, I can get 2 or 3 friends over to hear about this. It's a fantastic way to launch your business. And just remember that the hardest part of this is at the beginning, because at that stage you don't have all the success under your belt to rattle off. So it can be hard at the beginning, but it is honestly the most rewarding thing that you will ever do. It's also really important to understand the different packages that we have on offer and why we promote certain packages over others. So we've also included a sheet that explains exactly why we promote the bigger packs. So make sure that you have a read of that, or you maybe call your upline and have a chat, and just really make sure you understand why, for especially business benefits and even products, if they want a lot more products at a discounted price, that you understand why we promote certain packages over others. So That's it, guys. Absolutely awesome that you've got to this step. So now you can start planning your launch and, yeah, doing your launch. That's absolutely awesome. So we look forward to hearing how you go, and I'm sure that you will experience a lot of success with your launch.